Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? I was trying to get that song to play for a little while so we could let people kind of cook in here a little bit, get the notices, because YouTube's not ever in any big hurry to put notices out. So as y'all can see, Edward's going to be joining me tonight. He has some stuff to share along these lines, and if I get stuck with not knowing what to do, he's going to be here for technical support too, I'm sure, but he's going to have a lot to add to this discussion tonight. So trying to wait just a few minutes to let anybody else come in here. So I'm just going to kind of chit chat a minute. I know everybody's been watching what's going on with Iran, and that's kind of crazy, and that might be a whole different live stream to do. That's not what we're talking about tonight, but I've been watching the news and watching videos, and the whole thing's crazy. Somebody had a video, I think it was True Rustic had a video up, and I watched it and asked, and it said that in that video, it said that if we were going to leave Iraq, that Iraq was going to need to pay us for the base we were leaving behind. And I left a comment and said, well, if they don't want to pay us for the base, we need to bomb the heck out of it on our way out the door so nobody can use it. So I see Debbie. Debbie's in here. Hey, Debbie. Charles is in here. So it shows we got 4 watching. I don't know if that counts me and Edward, but it looks like I lost Edward again. So he's going to have to figure out how to get back in here. He's probably still got the link, so I don't know why he dropped out. I know he has trouble with his internet sometimes. I already informed my grandson to not be downloading any games for the next hour or so. So are y'all hearing everything fine? Debbie, I'm going to figure out how to make you a mod. Okay, how do I add him in here? Okay, there we go. I got Edward back. You in here, Edward?
Sorry about that, Pastor Mo.
That's okay. I know you sometimes have internet issues. I do if my grandson's downloading.
Restart my phone.
And I'm not echoing, am I? Because I don't have a headphone.
A little bit.
Okay, well,
I'm hearing me echo on yours. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a headphone on, and maybe that'll help. Well, wait a minute. Can you hear me better now without the echo?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. I don't hear me repeating back anymore. So
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, it's the echo. That song probably sounded echoey then too. I bet you. Oh well, it was kind of a techno song anyway. So,
That wasn't a bad song. Good song to start with.
well, I was trying to find something we wouldn't get hit with, so that they'd end up trying to take us out of here. I was still trying to
Right.
kind of see if we could get more people in here. Maybe we should do this on your channel because I really feel like this is an important subject we need to get out there for people to look at. But I guess we can go ahead and get started, and people are going to show up late because YouTube doesn't give everybody the announcements in time.
Right.
So let
Hey,
me see if
Debbie.
I
Hey,
can.
Charles.
I want to make Debbie a mod, just because.
Okay. So click on her name, and at the bottom it should say Add Moderator.
Okay, I'm doing this from the StreamYard. Can I do it from the StreamYard?
No, you got to go to YouTube and go on
Okay, well,
your stream on YouTube.
let me do it from my phone. It should let me do it from there. It's a lot to figure out on these, and a lot to get set up for to get these things ready. You know what? StreamYard. Can I do it from the StreamYard? Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
I know it's crazy. Yeah, I'm testing out a new one. It's called MobiZen or whatever, and it lets you share your screen or or like do a live video or whatever. And that's what I did my music show the other day. I just shared the YouTube screen, and that one worked out all right. So, and that's from the phone.
Okay, I see True Seeker in here. I thought I had you as a mod, True Seeker, but I'm going to make you a mod too, because you know these crazy people that show up. And since I haven't done a live stream in a while, and because this is going to have something to do, part of the subject's going to have to do with Vegas, so I don't want all the crazy trolls in here running rampant. So Debbie, you and True Seeker should have a wrench now. If it'll show up that you have one. I made you one. Okay, there's Debbie's. I see her wrench showing up. So True Seeker, you should have a wrench showing up here in just a second. Okay. I'll figure this all out eventually. But yeah, we need to find a different platform to use other than StreamYards if they're going to limit us to 20 hours a month, because there could be months that we want to do more than 20 hours. And so the live streams seem easier, what it seems like to me, than trying to put a video together. I mean, I can paste and put a video together, but the live streams to me are more interactive because you can get feedback from everybody immediately and be discussing
Right.
topics.
And they're even better than Premieres, I think, too, because Premieres, you get the feedback, but you can't respond to the feedback right away, because the video's all set up. That's why I like live streams better.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first article and let us discuss it just a little bit. Okay. Let's see. I got to figure out how to do it again. Screen share. Chrome tab. Okay.
Oh, good. So you're using the Chrome tab instead of sharing the
Yeah.
entire screen.
I don't think it'll let you do it in Microsoft Windows. You need the Microsoft products. I don't think it'll let you.
Internet, you can. No.
Yeah, I think you've got to do it in a Chrome tab. And honestly, I'm not real familiar with Chrome, and I couldn't figure out how to make it read the article for me. So that's a little bit of a problem. I'm just going to have to read it in the Microsoft products. You can have it read it for you. Have a little robot voice.
Well, that'd be cool.
But I don't.
Maybe they
I
have
can't
like
figure.
in in Firefox, they might have an add-on, Mozilla Firefox, that you can add on possibly that might do that for you.
Yeah, because you lose your voice after a while doing too much talking. Okay, so y'all can see this about the
Hmm.
Saudis that came to the U.S. military training. So we know who this dude is. He's the dude that did the shooting in Pensacola, the student who did that. And the interesting thing I wanted to go into is that we've been doing this for years and training actually international students. Let's see, was at the Naval Air Station, Pensacola, on one of the more than 5,500 temporary visas issued to the Saudi military personnel by the State Department in 2019, according to department data. As of Friday, there were 852 Saudis in the U.S. program for Pentagon-sponsored training related to security cooperation. Then it goes on down. I don't want to read all this article, but I'm going to put all the links to all the articles I put up. I'll put them in the description after this video loads up completely. I'll add them all in there. But not in this article, but there was another article and I couldn't find it again. But remember, there was like 10 of those guys that were missing or something after they got
Yep.
this guy. Okay, I couldn't find anything saying they found them or they've done anything with them. Okay, and then there was another article I found that, and I don't think I've got the link to that one right here, but was talking about when in Texas there was some training where they were bringing in people from Afghanistan and bringing them over here to train them, and they said like 80% of them went AWOL. Okay, and so where are those guys? Okay. So I mean, I would feel real good about having potential terrorists from another country coming over here to do
So if they
training, and
sent
then they
if
go
they sent 100
AWOL.
people over here, 80 of them are just missing, right? If they send 100 people, that's
Correct.
crazy.
So there's also some articles out there showing, and I meant to bring the pictures and I didn't do it, but it'll be real easy to find and pull up. There are supposedly 100 sleeper cells of ISIS or some kind of terrorist organizations that are in the United States right now,
Oh,
ready
I believe it.
to do whatever. Okay. My thinking is if our government knows there's 100 of these here, why have they not rounded them up already? You know, if they've got some reason to believe that they're going to do something. I'm sure they're watching them, but that's crazy. I mean, that's craziness that we're even allowing. Because like this dude here, the one that did the shooting, if you read all of that article in there, it goes on to say that they're handpicked by their government to come here, and then we vet them. Okay. So they're already picked out from their government. And it's not like we pick out the ones we want to train. They pick out the ones they want to send, and then we vet those. That's the way it sounds like to me that they're doing it. So that doesn't make, I mean, and like this guy could have went rogue, he could have been okay when he got here, and then he got listened to some friends he'd met or whatever and got pulled into, some, ideology contrary to what he believed when he got here. I mean, so
Right.
that's a possibility too, you know. So we don't know if he was already had these ideologies in his head when he got here or if he got radicalized after he got here. But
Well, even before he's going to use even if he was radicalized before, he's going to use the guise of, oh, look, they're going to train. He's going to train for a little bit, right? And then before he goes rogue himself. I think it was before, but it could have happened here too.
yeah. So, I mean, because in the Quran, they there's a, I don't know exactly where it is, but there's a clause that says they can lie if it will further the cause, of them promoting um, Islam. And a lot of people, some people, oh no, that's not in their Quran, but it is in the Quran. So, I've read enough and heard enough people say about it that if, it's okay for them to lie about something if it's to further the cause of Islam. And say they're
Right.
something they're not. Yeah. So anyway, I thought,
Yeah. Isn't
okay,
it?
Charles says it's not AWOL. They're here for training, but not in our military. Yeah, but they're here to be trained, and then I think
Then
they
they
still had to have
disappear
a
after.
pass to leave, and then they disappeared. Yeah. So that training in Texas was shut down. It happened with two different incidences, and then they shut it down, and that's why they shut it down, because these guys would get over here, and then they were going AWOL. That makes me feel real good coming from Texas, living in Texas. You know?
Right. Well, that one that happened in the shooting in Florida, he was one of those Saudis that they were training, wasn't
Yeah, he was one that was training. He was one of them that got vetted and came over here, and he was one of the Saudis they were training. He had access to that military base. Now, I've never heard yet how he got a gun, because I
he?
wouldn't
Right.
think he should be able to buy a gun in the United States legally. Legally, now he could have bought one in the black market, but how he got the gun that he had, I haven't heard anything on that yet. So that's a whole nother topic to get into. Did he get the gun legally? Did he get it on the black market? If he did get it legally, how did he do that? He's not a United States citizen. He shouldn't be
Yeah,
able.
exactly. Shouldn't be able to buy a gun legally
No.
from a gun store or nothing if you're
Yeah.
not a U.S. citizen. Hey, Angela G.
Yeah. Hey, Angela, how are you doing? Well, so far, we haven't had any trolls show up. So let's go a little bit further with this. So there's also, and I know True Seeker and some of you other people, and you may know Edward, there was some group of Saudis training for helicopters, or they were here on some kind of training right around the time that Las Vegas happened. Do you remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, they booked an entire floor, didn't they?
Yeah. And so that's where some people who have the helicopter theory think that it could have been Saudis that did that did the shooting or had something to do with it or something. And so
Hmm.
I kind of have always kind of kept that in the back of my mind and not really went forward with that, because there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in that. I do believe that it was some type of terrorist, uh, a radicalized group. That's my belief of who did the shooting. And I know those that go with the official narrative are gonna, be hating on me for that, but I'm sorry. I can't go with the official narrative. There's too many things that are weird and wrong with the official narrative. And one of those things, there is a helicopter, though, that hovers between the Delano and the Mandalay Bay that I've never heard a great explanation on. Why was that helicopter hovering there? And so that one has always puzzled me. And then the one that lands out in the middle of the desert, that helicopter has puzzled me. Those two helicopters there have always stuck out to me as something strange and unusual. And I've never heard a good explanation that I felt was plausible. And maybe I just missed it. Maybe there was one and I missed it, as to why those two specific helicopters were there. So I don't know if you've delved into that much, Edward, or not, but
No, I really didn't, but it always puzzled me on why they were there as well.
the Truth Seeker says Saudi National Guard or something like that, and that's what Charles was saying too. That's what I thought it was. It wasn't like they were here on a permanent training basis that was going to last, like, for so many years or whatever. That they were here on a temporary basis, learning how to fly the helicopters they bought from us. Like it's like our National Guard, but it's the Saudi National Guard. They were here doing some
Hmm.
training, but not necessarily we're going to be like here living here for a while, like this guy did in Pensacola. That a group of them came
Right,
over
right.
for a limited amount of time. I don't know, a couple of weeks or a month or something or whatever. And we're doing training, and it was all right about the same time that Las Vegas went down.
Hmm.
So okay, so I want y'all to keep that in the back of your mind. I'm trying to keep setting up what I'm trying to say here. Okay. And if you disagree with me, Edward, that's fine. Just go ahead and disagree with me, because we can agree to disagree agreeably. And
Right.
I just want to sort through the facts, and I want y'all to help me with what I saw. Okay, what I found.
And these are some big facts that Pastor Mo's about to say.
Because I've been holding on to this for a couple of weeks, and I've been trying to see if anything new would come out regarding it. Um, that if this is true, it could tie this whole thing, kind of put a bow around it, is what I'm seeing. Okay, so let me get the next article up here. Okay, let me see if I can remember how to do this now. Stop screen, share. Okay, if I talk to myself the whole time I do it, I'll make sure I'm doing it right, I guess.
Right.
So far, so good. There we go. Okay, so this article was written back in May, and we see there's Trump with, what's his name? I never can say his name right. Mohammed bin,
Mohammed bin
yeah,
Salman.
I'm just going to call him MBS for short. MBS, and
Okay.
that way it'll be a little bit easier, because I have a hard time. I can't pronounce these things like some people can. I can pronounce the Jewish names and stuff better than I can the Saudi Arabian stuff. Okay, so there you see Trump and him sitting there, a couple people sitting behind him. Um, so Trump and MBS meet in the White House on March the 20th, 2018. So, I mean, this relationship's been going on for a little while. It started shortly after Trump entered the office. Okay. I don't want to read this whole thing either, but what it talks about in here is, okay, he's working, Trump's working with MBS to try to kill the mindset, more or less, of um, those those ideologies that are radicalized. Um, and the prince wants the country to go back to the way it used to be when it was more modernized. Okay, women held jobs. Um, they didn't dress. They dressed, pretty much like Westerners did. They didn't have to wear the sheets and the sheets on their head and all that and everything. Uh, so this is what this is talking about: them starting this relationship and trying. Um, that MBS wants the. Okay, so right here, Saudi Crown Prince. Trying to get it where I can highlight it. It's easier to read. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has himself claimed that since 2017 that Riyadh is now determined to destroy the extremist ideology that it did so much for so long to promote. So, but then it goes on to say it hasn't all been just lip service. He's ruled in the kingdom's all-powerful religious police and locked up some extremist cleric. Abroad, the Muslim World League, once the tip of Saudi's spear for exporting Wahhabism, recently surrendered its lease to the Grand Mosque of Brussels after Belgium. Anyway, it goes on about some other stuff in there. But anyway, he's been doing things to try to change the country and get it more up to steam. Okay, and then I don't have an article on it, but I think everybody's pretty familiar with the Khashoggi. What's his name? The journalist who got killed over in Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, Khashoggi or whatever.
His name's escaping me. Yeah, right.
Okay, so Khashoggi. I think Khashoggi and MBS's dad were not on good terms. There was a lot of articles that were written and stuff that Khashoggi wrote that was against the Saudi nation and high people in the Saudi government. But we even stated that was carried out, the CIA states that it was carried out by MBS's orders, that we have found that he actually, the prince here, ordered it. Okay. And so nobody's done anything or said anything. I mean, it's kind of like he just got this kind of a pass. He got a pass on it, right? And then the thing in Pensacola, that's got shut down, and we're not hearing much about it. Kind of a pass has gotten, so far we're not hearing much about anything that comes up that tries to get linked back to the Saudis. It seems like has been getting a pass recently. And I've always questioned those that think that Saudi was behind Las Vegas. I'm like, well, Trump has hotels there. If he thought it was them, why would he give them a pass? I mean, whether it was rogue nationals that came over here and they were rogue, or they came over here for training and went rogue, or if it was by somebody's orders to have it done. If he thought it was them, why would he give them a pass? Because I mean, he has money invested in this city. He has income coming from there. Okay, so is everybody following me? You follow me, Edward, where I'm going with this a little bit?
I'm following you. Yep.
Okay, so
a little bit.
Try not to confuse everybody. Clovis is here. Yay, I almost should get her on here because she could probably go to town on this subject, because I think she knows more about the Saudis than I even could begin to tell you. And she may know more that would help tie into this stuff, So let me know, Clovis, if you want a link. I'll text you the link, and if you want to get in here on this. Okay, so let me stop that screen share, and I'm going to go to the next screen share. Okay, so this is part of what got leaked. Let me make sure I can get this one up here.
Edward, a little bit. What?
Maybe she's saying she'll come on.
I think Clovis, one of my favorite subjects. I think she wants a link.
Okay, well, I'll send it to her, and if she's able to come, she can come whenever she wants to. Okay. So that is the Dome of the Rock there. Make sure it's showing up on the screen. It's kind of crazy having to toggle back and forth. I'll get the hang of this eventually. Okay. Will Saudi Arabia replace the Jordanian Waqf on the Temple Mount? So, some of y'all may not know, if you don't keep up with the Middle East stuff, who has been the one that is, uh, okay, go down here to the second paragraph here. Let me see if it's showing up on screen. It doesn't seem to show up on screen exactly the way it shows up on your screen. Y'all forgive me for not being real good at this yet. Okay, the Alaska Mosque is presently being ruled by the Jordanians. The Jordanians have a history of ignoring the fact that various Palestinian groups have been utilizing the holy site in order to start riots and engage in other acts of violence against Israel. Indeed, according to the various sources, the Jordanian regime stands behind much of the unrest on the Temple Mount area. The media outlets call attacks against Israel's heroic operations, and they urge Palestinians to harm Israel. Okay, let's see. There's no doubt that Jordan fights against Israel in every arena except the security arena around the border. The Jordanian prince, Zahid bin Rad, is the head of the International Human Rights Council in Geneva. He is behind a series of decisions that are against Israel. He is directed by the king to bash Israel at every possible opportunity. Jordan was behind the decisions of UNESCO, which doesn't recognize the Jewish connection to Jerusalem and Hebron. Many other actions they do cannot go along with the peace agreement. Any other actions that they do cannot go along with the peace agreement with Jordan. And
Well,
you're going to talk about. Yeah.
That kind of negates what I was going to say then, because it looks like Jordan might have broken the peace agreement first, according to that article.
Yeah, and that may be why I'm
They're
going to let
doing the
you.
other thing. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm fixing to let you do. Have you got yours where you can screen share that article, or do I need to pull that article up?
I'm on a phone, so I really can't screen share anything.
Okay. Okay, so if you go on down the next paragraph there, let's see. Okay, the interesting thing is that Saudi side stated that many young Saudis have been waiting for normalization to develop between the two countries. Okay, so Saeed is pushing for Saudi Arabia's potential replacing the Jordanians as the head of the Waqf on the Temple Mount, which means
that's
that,
big.
yeah, Jordan has been the one who has kind of policed the Temple Mount and what can go on and not go on. Right now, Jews cannot go to the Temple Mount to pray. They can't go up there anywhere on the Temple Mount to pray. They can pray down at the Western Wall. And I even know a group of young ladies who went over there, about 6 or 7 of them went over there, I guess 4 or 5 years ago on a trip. And they had a Arab tour guy that they hired, like a private tour guy that took them all around. And he took them up on the Temple Mount up there and said, y'all can pray if you want to, but don't let anybody see your lips moving. Okay. And so he took them up there and he let them be up there about 30 minutes with him. And nobody could tell they were praying. If they had got caught, they would all got in trouble, including him, for taking them up there. Now, these were Christian people. So they're real. I mean, if you followed Israel's history at all and the Temple Mount, you'll see that there have been riots and fights and stuff like that, skirmishes off and on, little squabbles and stuff, because the Jews wanted to do something and the Arabs didn't think they needed to be doing it. So, but Jordan has been the one that has kind of administrated that whole thing. So if this changes hands and changes to Saudi being in charge, this is a very big deal. Very big, in my opinion.
Right. It is. It's a huge deal. And that is also in violation of the Jordan and Israel peace treaty. So, you read in the first paragraph of that article how Jordan is basically in violation of it. And then if they hand over control of that mosque and the Temple Mount and all of that over to Saudi Arabia, then that is going to be in violation of that treaty as well. So it looks like both sides kind of either, I don't know, both sides are in violation, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think that they're wanting, one reason they want Saudi to be in control of it, which makes sense. The other two holy places are in Saudi Arabia, especially Mecca, which is supposed to be the most holiest place. Okay.
Right.
And they don't even prevent Jews from going to Mecca. If they want to go over there, they don't, say you can't come or whatever. Um, so that's kind of
Right.
interesting
And
that,
Saudi Arabia would do the Temple Mount the same way, right? So they would, they Jews, Christians, whoever would be allowed to go there at that point, right?
actually
If they
right
put it in
now,
Saudi control.
there's this preacher that I listened to, and he said there's already a rabbi guy over there, or I don't know if he's actually a rabbi, but he's a scholarly Jewish person or whatever, that he's been being allowed to take not Jews up there, but Christians up there over in one little spot and pray. And this has been
Really?
going on. He goes once a week, and this has been going on for a few months now. And it's like they're getting it prepped and ready. And that's what he said he's doing. He's going over there. I mean, he's got direct connections with this preacher guy I listened to. And he said they've been getting it ready because there is going to be a prayer place built up there for the Jews. Okay. And even Jared Kushner, months and months ago, he's let it slip, and he slipped out saying that there was a synagogue that's going to be built on the Temple Mount. And he was talking about it in connection with this Peace for Prosperity plan. Now, they've got synagogues in Jerusalem all over the place. Why would they build a synagogue up there unless it is the third temple or something to get the door kind of open towards that? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't know if everybody in here that's in the chat follows Bible prophecy. I study it and I teach it. Um, but in Bible prophecy, the Christians are waiting for the third temple to be built, and supposedly it's going to be built before or during the tribulation period. Okay,
Hmm.
because in the middle of the tribulation period, the Antichrist is going to go sit in that temple, and where they're going to reinstitute sacrifices and everything, and the Antichrist is going to go sit in the temple midway through the tribulation period and say, um, "I am God, worship me." Okay, and then everybody's going to figure out that they have been fooled for this first 3.5 years, thinking that the Antichrist was a good guy. And
Oh yeah,
truth,
he was coming in peace, right? He was coming to be the
yeah,
peacekeeper.
he comes in peace. That's what the white horse, the first white horse, represents. He's coming in peace, and he's got a bow. He's got a bow, but if you note, there are no arrows. There's no mention of any arrows. So he comes in peaceably with flatteries, and you can read a lot of this in the book of Daniel too, where it talks about the Antichrist. So anyway, the events that are ramping up right now in the Middle East are leading me to believe that we are not too awfully far away. Now, I've felt this in the past under certain situations, and then things kind of died down and calmed down. But what's going on right now is like really getting really, really ramped up. And I happen to believe that there's a war that's going to happen prior to the tribulation period. And you can read about that war in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. It is not Armageddon. It is a totally different war. And it's where a certain select number of Muslim countries come against Israel. But Israel wins. Israel wins this war. But it's going to have some kind of chemical or nuclear warfare involved in it. Because if you read about it and you see how they take care of the bodies, how they handle the bodies, it takes them 7 months to bury all these bodies. Okay, and there's people that go out with a marker and just mark the bodies. Okay, why don't they just go ahead and pick up the bodies and do something with them?
Right. Yeah.
Because if they're contaminated, they can't, only people that are dressed in hazmats are going to be able to come take those bodies to decompose of them properly. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Clovis, I sent you that link in the text. So anytime you want to come, I'm reading your comments. When Kushner said that hundreds of thousands in donations have been poured into the synagogue, and I would not doubt it. When we were there, we were in Israel last April. Me and my husband went there in last April, and we went to, all the sites and everything. We went to the Wailing Wall. I actually got to go up on top of. It's a place you can walk around the outside of. It's not on the Temple Mount, it's outside. It's a wall out there, and you can walk on it. And so me and about 5 or 6, let's see, there's 5 other girls with us. We all 5 of us went up there and walked on that wall and prayed when we were there. And you can see the Temple Mount from there. You can see the Wailing Wall from there. And then we went to what's called the the Temple Institute. That's what it is. And it's a group of people who have researched what needs to be done to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the sacrificial worship in there. And you go through this kind of a museum-like thing, but in the museum, they have recreated the pieces that need to be placed in the temple, the things that need to be used for the incense and even the priest clothes and everything. They've got everything ready to go. They've even got the cornerstone ready to go. And they say they can build this temple with modern technology in from 6 to 9 months once they get the go ahead to do it. It can be built. And the only thing they don't have, or nobody's saying they have, is the Ark of the Covenant, the original Ark of the Covenant. So I don't know what they're going to do without that. I have a theory on where that is too from some studies I've done, but that's a whole different subject. But hey, John, how are you doing? John Workus is here. Yeah, I'm Miss Pastor. I haven't seen Clovis try to come in yet, so maybe she's still busy doing stuff and she can't get in here yet. So do you want to talk about that treaty yet, or you want me to go on with this a little bit? Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You probably go on with this a little bit more, and then I'll cover the treaty last, because the treaty is not really that. This is a much bigger deal than that treaty, I believe.
Yeah, because I think they can negate it, or they can, what do you call it? Renegotiate it.
They're going to renegotiate it and have Jordan go along with it. Is what's going to happen, probably.
Well, they're probably going to have to, no matter what. I mean, what are they going to do?
Well,
have a war with Saudi Arabia and the United States over it, and Israel? I mean,
right? Yeah, they're just going to back down. Is what it is.
So yeah, a lot of people don't understand. They've always, like, even my husband was having a discussion with my grandson earlier because I was telling him about the Saudi Arabia and all that taking it over, and he was like, "What do you mean Israel doesn't administrate their own government?" And we're like, "Well, they do to an extent, but everybody's trying to tell them how to run the government and what to do and what not to do." I mean, it would be like your neighbor trying to come over here at your house and tell you how to run your family and run your household, you know. So Israel's always had, since they've been a nation since 1948, they've had people trying to tell them what to do and what not to do, but they have never been able to administrate the Temple Mount, which is the most holiest site to them, not because of the structures that are built up there, because it is where the supposedly original temple that was destroyed was built. Anyway, so I'm giving y'all some history lessons too in this. Let's see. I think most of these articles, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to pull these snippets out, and then I'm going to link all these articles in there. Then y'all can go back down and read them at your leisure if you're interested in more of it. It's hard to talk and click all these buttons at the same time, isn't it? Okay. That is not sharing that right. Maybe I need to refresh it or something. Well, that came up earlier, the whole thing. Oh, here it goes. It's just leaving. It's coming slow, I think. Okay. Let's see if that's showing up. It says Trump's playing with fire at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque. So in this article too, it states the same thing, that they're planning on putting, fueled by Trump's peace plan, rumors are running rife that Saudi Arabia is muscling in on Jordan's control of Islam's third holiest site. The repercussions of interfering with the status quo. Okay, come on. That's lasted a century could be explosive. So it says there, rumors have run rife that the Arab and Israeli press that Saudi Arabia is seeking to displace Jordan as the sole custodian or protector of Jerusalem's Al-Haman Al-Sharif compound, in which the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque is situated. The rumors are allegedly causing much anxiety in Amman. So, yeah, this is the first article that says anything about anything going on in Jordan. These concerns are likely to have been laid to rest by a speech given this week to the United Nations Security Council by the U.S. President Donald Trump's Mideast mediator, Jason Greenblatt, who talked up the potential for creative solutions to Jerusalem status that attempt to respect all three religions that cherish the incredible city. And, you know, Trump keeps calling it the deal of the century. It's really called prosperity for peace. And the whole thing is, and this is how, I mean, it almost sounds like blackmail to me. The Palestinians are going to agree with this, that they're not going to get any more money. Israel's going to agree to it, or we're going to pull finances that we send there and other countries send there to both of them. And then what they're going to do is they're making a way for the Palestinians to become self-sufficient. Egypt is going to make a small area close down there to the bottom of Israel that is going to be kind of an industrial hub. The Palestinians won't be able to come over there and live, but they'll be able to come over there to work and to earn the finances they need and everything. So, I mean, there are going to be some donor things, but the whole plan is that within so many years, and they've not released how many years it is yet, but in so many years that the Palestinians have to be self-sufficient and have built their own airport and things like that. They're going to use Israel's airport in Tel Aviv right now, but there will be another airport built. So let me see if I can find one more link. I'm not really reading the chat, guys. I'm sorry, but it's hard to read the chat and read these articles at the same time.
I'm laughing at John Work. It says, Master Edward, I hang on his every word. What? What you talking about, John? Hey, Merrick.
He enjoys the subject too in the lessons. He enjoys the subject in the lesson. You know, a lot of people don't want to talk about the Bible, you know, but one of the most fascinating subjects in the Bible is the end times because basically, whether you believe the Bible or you don't believe the Bible, if the Bible's true, these things are going to happen regardless. Okay. So even if you're an atheist, you say, oh, well, I don't believe the Bible, you know, nothing's going to happen. You know, nothing's going to go crazy and go on. But at some point, whether it happens biblically or some other way, this world is going to go down the drain, you know?
Yep. All right. What's that you found?
Trying to get to the next article. Some of these aren't really pulling up in the StreamYard really great. And I'm not very fast at this either. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, so this article, let me see if it came up right.
Yeah, that came up.
That one came up. The other one didn't come up right. When I looked at it earlier and pulled the link up in my tab, the whole thing came up right, but I don't know why it wasn't wanting to work right. Okay. Latest leak of Trump's deal of the century, annexes settlements to Israel and establishes a new Palestine. So what they're trying to do, they're gonna share the Temple Mount, but there will be a new Palestine. What's weird though is the map. There's a map that's gotten leaked by this other pastor that I know of, and supposedly it shows how it's all going to be laid out, you know, and what's going where and all that and everything. So that may be something for another subject, but if I can put a link to the map in here, I'll put a link to it. So this is just another article that goes on. It talks about, you scroll down here about halfway into it, a later clause in the draft would transfer stewardship of the Al-Aqsa Mosque from Jordan to Saudi Arabia. So every article that I find where this, because see the draft got given out to a bunch of Muslim countries, okay, that met over there in Saudi Arabia when Kushner went over there and went through the whole spiel with them. And they were supposed to be keeping it under wraps, but it got leaked. It got leaked to a Saudi reporter, and then it got leaked where they, I mean, you can find the actual draft online, but it's all in Arabic, so I can't read it. But then it, you know, this is from people doing the translation. Sorry, my words are not working very well, not either. So people doing these translations and translating it, this is where these articles have come from.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is from the Jerusalem Post. This is the last one I'm going to show that has to do with what I'm doing. And then I don't have your link pulled up, so I'll have to get it pulled up. Okay, Jerusalem to remain the deal of the century. Let's see if that's showing up. Yeah, that's showing up. Okay, in the reported draft, Jerusalem will remain unrifled, under control, shared control between a new Palestinian state and Israel. Okay, and there's where he's calling it the deal of the century right there. Okay, Jerusalem will not be split up in the agreement, but instead will be shared between Israel and the Palestinian state, with the Arab population of the city becoming residents of the Palestinian state, according to the reported draft. So when this all gets said and done, Arab can't sell his house to a Jew, and a Jew can't sell his house to an Arab. So whoever owns whatever, by the time they do this, it's going to stay that way. Okay. And it says again right here that Al-Aqsa Mosque will be put under Saudi Arabia's control instead of Jordan's control. Okay, so let me see if I can get your link up. If you got anything to add, go ahead and add it right now.
I just put it in the private chat on the StreamYard.
Oh, how do I find the private chat? Oh, there it is. I see it.
And I don't think it shows up in like link form. You probably got to copy and paste the link.
Trying. It's not. Okay, there it goes. Okay, there we go. That's helpful having it right there, though. That works. Much better just putting it in there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's usually what True Seeker and I do. We before we even start the show, we drop all of our links in the private chat.
Well, y'all know how to do this better than me, so I'll remember that for next time. Jordanian. Let's see if that's it. Here we go. Showing up.
Clovis saying, "I am ready." Yo, comment. Are you ready? Did you send her the link?
I sent it to her. I texted to her.
Oh, well, she doesn't go live on her phone. I sent it to your messenger, Clovis.
Okay, yeah, because I don't think I have her on there.
All right. If you scroll down a little bit.
Do I need to try to make it bigger, or can you read that?
I can read it. It's going to be Article 9, which you got to click on Article 6 through 15.
Okay, then I got to find Article 9.
Yep.
Okay, is it up there where you can see it? Yeah, it looks like it is. It just doesn't look big, very big on the StreamYard. Can you read that?
Yeah, I can read it. Article 9 says each party will provide freedom of access to places of historic and religious significance. In this regard, in accordance with the Washington Declaration, Israel respects the present special role of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan in Muslim holy shrines in Jerusalem. When negotiations on the permanent status will take place, Israel will give high priority to the Jordanian historic rule in those shrines. The parties will act together to promote interfaith relations among the three monotheistic religions, with the aim of working towards religious understanding, moral commitment, freedom of religious worship, and tolerance and peace. So apparently, that's kind of violating the Washington Declaration in the fact that they're just basically giving it to Saudi Arabia and not
Love you.
Making Jordan the priority that they said that Jordan would have in that, you know?
Yeah, so that's that. I didn't realize that it was in that agreement, in that peace treaty, how they came about. But I think they were. You said this was 94.
This is the one signed under President Bill Clinton, 1994.
But I'm thinking they've administrated it for longer than that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the 1920 the Hashemite clause. What's it say there? Let me zoom back in again. The Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, their rules went into effect in like 1924. But I guess they just had it in this agreement that Israel was going to respect that clause,
Right.
respect that from way back in the day or whatever. But yeah, so they've had it for a long time anyway.
I know when they signed this, I was watching it and I didn't know much about prophecy at the time. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this Jordan guy, is he the Antichrist or what? Because, when you don't really understand the Bible and you don't understand all the characteristics that the Antichrist has to have, it's easy to say, oh, it's going to be so-and-so. I mean, it's been down through the years. Every president we've had, they've said, oh, that's the Antichrist.
Yep, they did it really bad with President Obama. President Obama is a lot of things. The Antichrist is not one of them.
Yeah. He might have had an Antichrist type spirit about him, but that didn't make him an Antichrist, because the Antichrist spirit has already been loosed on the world. I mean, look at Hitler. He definitely had a very strong Antichrist spirit, but he was not the Antichrist. So that's where a lot of people get confused. There's certain criteria that the Antichrist is going to have to meet. And the thing is, a lot of people try to figure out the details of everything, but what you need to do is just read and study and learn the events, the sequences, the characteristics of the false prophet, the Antichrist, and all that kind of stuff, so that when this happens, you'll recognize it. And that's what I teach when I teach the end times to people, that if you're studied up, then when it does start unfolding, you'll see it and you'll know what's fixing to happen. Okay, now don't get me confused and say, don't anybody go say, oh, well, she's saying she knows when the rapture is going to happen, because I don't know. I have no idea when it's going to happen. I just know that when it happens, I'm going, because the Bible does say that we wouldn't know the day nor hour, but we're also told in the Bible not to be ignorant of the times and the seasons. Okay, so then that's taken in context with the end times. So we aren't to be ignorant of these things. So I'm going to be quieter. I'm going to sound like I'm preaching here. I don't be careful.
Right. Oh, there's Clovis saying, I believe Obama is an enemy of the state and a traitor to this country. I said Obama's a lot of things, but the Antichrist is not one of them.
Right.
He might have had an Antichrist spirit, like Pastor Mo said.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's a difference in being the Antichrist and having an Antichrist spirit. I have met people with an Antichrist type spirit. Does that make them the Antichrist? No. But they have a lot of those qualifications and traits about them.
Right.
So not really sure. Okay. The only thing where I want to go with this, and maybe everybody has put the puzzle pieces together, with this new thing with Saudi Arabia going to be taking over the control of the Temple Mount, that is a big, big deal for anybody who doesn't really understand that, because that's going to open up the door for these end time events to become and start unfolding, and for there possibly to be some type of synagogue or something built up there too, along with the mosque. I have another theory on that with the mosque, but that's a whole different subject there. But anyway, it's going to open the door for the Antichrist to come in, because he is going to be behind building this temple too. So, but with Saudi Arabia administrating that up there, that's why I think they're getting a pass on so many things. Okay. They're just kind of getting a pass on anything that goes down, because any leader who has ever wanted to every president I can remember since I voted, was old enough to vote, has always wanted to try to negotiate peace in Israel. Okay. And nobody has ever been able to do it. They want to do it because that is going to be like this big notch on their belt, being able to do that. And that's why Trump keeps saying this is the deal of the century, okay? Because he wants to be the one to negotiate that peace. And so, anyway, it's a big deal to him, okay, to do this. But by doing it, is he given, has he been given Saudis a pass? Because he wants this deal. But sometimes, you know, if you're a shrewd businessman and you're making a deal, sometimes you make these little side deals too. And you let some things kind of slide, or you don't really, you know, go correct somebody and reprimand them if they're getting out of line, because until you want the deal to go through. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? You want the deal to happen. So that's what I'm wondering, if he hasn't been convinced by somebody that this was just rogue terrorist or whatever. And it just gives me more of a leaning towards, could it have been Saudi nationals that were, you know, they were born in Saudi Arabia, became Islamicized either there or after they got here, kind of like the Pensacola dude, and that was behind what was going on in Las Vegas. So I'm seeing a bit of a connection there between Saudi Arabia and the Las Vegas shooting. I don't know if anybody else can see that. But if you knew you had this big deal on the back burner, you wouldn't want any bad press coming towards one of the people that you're bringing into this deal, you know. So I may not be explaining this well.
No,
You kind of see
you
what
are.
I'm saying here?
I'm following you. Uh-huh.
Okay. So anyway, I'm just saying it's a theory. It's an opinion, my opinion. Um, I don't have any proof that they've been given a pass on anything that happened. I just believe that there were some kind of Islamicized radical terrorists involved in what happened in Las Vegas, and I
I agree.
I haven't seen any evidence to believe to make me leave that theory. You know, that was one of the things that stuck out to me the most in the very beginning when everything was trying to be covered up. All I know is, though, if this is a cover up and it's going from that high up, we're never ever going to be able to solve it. We're never ever going to see daylight on it. I don't think.
Right.
It would have to be some big snafu to let some stuff out, and you know, that somebody finds or that is released. I don't think we'd ever, if if President T is involved in it, we will never see the real truth. And I love President Trump. I voted for him. I like him. He stands for a lot of the things that I believe in. Is he crude and rude and maybe has some other appetites that I don't like, I don't agree with? I didn't vote him in to be the preacher for the United States of America. I voted him in to be the president of the United States of America.
Right.
A
Yeah.
lot of Christians are real, well, why did you vote for him? He's this and he's that, and he's a womanizer and all this and everything. And I'm like, well, I didn't vote him in to be a religious leader. I voted him in to be the president. And given the choices we were given, that was the best choice to me, because of
Right.
what he did value and what his plans were to do things. So, I mean, and it could be something that he totally doesn't know. He doesn't, maybe it got covered up without him knowing, but I would be hard for me to see that it got that covered up. But when you look at, who is it, Adelson? Is he the one that gave all that
Right.
money to some terrorist organization? And was it him, or it was the guy who owned Mandalay Bay?
The guy who owns Four Seasons? Or the guy who owns no, James Murin.
Okay, he's the one that gave the money to I mean, he knew something was going down because of all
Oh,
those.
selling all of his stock like that? Yep.
Yeah, he knew something was going down. He knew it ahead of time. He knew something was going down. But he had donated a lot of money to some terrorist organization. And that is documented that he did that. Um, and he supports them. Allison's a guy that's Jewish, isn't he?
Right.
He's
He's
the
the one
one
from
that's Jewish.
Israel who owns the Review Journal and the Sands Casino.
Right. Okay. Sometimes I get all these guys confused. But yeah,
Yep. So you're talking about James Mirren.
yeah, Murin is the one who donated money to a terrorist organization, and there was even something he put, if any of his employees, there was some kind of notice he sent out that was way back when everybody was researching this. It came out
All
that
right. Anyone want to donate whatever, right? To the
yeah, to that fund that they could, So don't tell me he's got the Four Seasons on the top floors of his hotel, and he don't have some kind of connection with some of these people. Okay,
right.
don't
The
tell me
Four
that.
Seasons owned by Prince Aloid bin Talal and
Yeah,
Bill Gates. Yep.
I mean, look when after all this went down, and then he took all those princes and put them in that hotel and was supposedly questioning them and all this stuff and everything. He had to do that. He had to do it to make it look like he didn't have any, if that's why he was really questioning them all. And then that other prince got killed in a helicopter thing. So I
Yep.
mean, he's come out and made statements against the Pensacola shooter that he did not support any of his ideologies, blah blah blah, and all that. Well, he can't look like the bad guy, so he's going to have to come out and make statements that he was against this stuff. Clovis, are you coming in here? I saw you here a minute ago.
She just keeps on typing. She needs to get on here and talk. All right, so Clever says the reason for Mount and Qatar, Israel smacking back and forth for this mount is because the Muslims believe this is where Prophet Muhammad went to pertain the words of the Quran.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why.
Right, but in the peace deal, we're basically giving the mount to Saudi Arabia, right?
It's not going to give it to them, but it's going to. The way I understand it. The way I understand, which I can't read the original Arabic version that I found online, but it gives them the right to administrate the Temple Mount.
Right, takes that away from Jordan and
Sure.
gives it to them. Okay.
Right. And they would be in control of keeping the peace there.
Right.
There she is. Let's get her in here. There you go,
Clovis, hey.
Clovis.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to catch on what you were talking about on your show, and I think I was on the right track. I wasn't sure. So kind of fill me in what you're talking about.
Okay, the information I got that the peace treaty that Trump's trying to have between Israel and the Palestinians,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's going to end up doing. It's been leaked, and what it's going to end up doing is giving the control of the administration of the Temple Mount, the security on the Temple Mount, and all that. It's going to change from the Jordanians to Saudi Arabia. Okay, and so that's a big deal because Jordan has administrated this for years and years and years. And
Almost 100 years or more.
Right.
yeah. So, but that's why I'm saying some of the terrorist things that were perpetrated by Saudi nationals or possibly Saudi nationals, I think that's why they've gotten a pass in the last few years on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like shut down and put under the rug. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally off base on this. but I've been holding on to this for a couple of weeks and rolling it around in my head and studying it, because I believe that some rogue terrorist from somewhere, I don't know where, is who's responsible for the shooting in Las Vegas. And I missed y'all's live stream where y'all were talking about Israel and the guns, but I think I got the gist of that too. That there were guns stolen. Okay,
Yeah.
and I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah.
But could they have been stolen by Arabs and then flew them over here to try to set Saudi Arabia up set
Sure.
Israel up like it was a false flag?
And that's exactly what happened. I feel that my belief is that's exactly what happened. But I think the people that were going to be using the guns were already here. I truly believe they were already here. So, but that's my belief. We're going to see, and I hate to change the subject on anything, but we're going to start seeing some things happening, big things happening. I've been following Iran, and I was over in, I think it was RT, and I was telling my husband this. We are on high alerts, mostly schools, hospitals, shopping malls, police stations, major cities, major government buildings are on high alert right now. We know why. The man that they killed, now we got to understand something. The man that they killed,
Khashoggi?
Khashoggi?
Oh, who are you talking about?
No. Shushugi. He's not him. I'm talking about the leader of
She's
the
talking
military.
about the Iran general.
Okay. Salami or whatever his name is.
Right. Soleimani.
Yeah, him.
Okay. Well, while I'm watching this news and they're having RT, which is a Russian-based news media, was showing his funeral. And I'm talking the whole country had to been at this funeral. But anyway, the people that were typing in the chat. So what I would do is I would copy and paste and take it over to Google and say, translate to English. Some of the things they're talking about is scary stuff, guys. They're talking about our Federal Reserve. They're talking about
stuff they're typing in Arabic, right? And then you're translating it.
Yeah, they're typing in Arabic, Persian and Arabic. One guy kept telling them to type in Persian. But as soon as and I was talking to my husband, yelling out at him what I'm finding. Well, I went to one and lo and behold, I wrote, let me see what I found here. I wrote, I went and put it in, translation, and it says as soon as the jihadists gives signal, you say yes, Lubbock, and that's Lubik. So I was like, what's Lubbock mean? So I went and I searched Lubbock up, and it is the Richmond Federal Reserve. Why are they? And I watched them again today, and it was again the Richmond. They were talking about the Lubbock. What is going on? Are they getting ready to hit our Federal Reserve? This is what they're going to.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit. I wouldn't doubt anything that they're going to try to do.
Well, they're talking. They're talking hard hit. That's what they keep saying, hard hit. I'm seeing knives and stuff in Arabic, and I'd stop the stream, stop the chat, and I'd copy and paste over to Google, and it would say things like America's going to get a hard hit, revenge for Soleimani. They calling us murderous people, and I'm trying to find here. Donald Trump targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago. Now, if you remember the things that Iran has already done, and this is what the American people need to understand. We got this temple over here while all this is going on. You have Qatar, you have Saudi, and you have Israel and the Pakistanians all worried about this mount. Okay. we all know that it says in the Bible, once the mount is built and erected, we need to start looking toward the sky. Okay. I truly believe that is when it's all going to come to, however you believe in your religion. Okay. But right now, the battle getting to it.
Right.
And I think the battle getting to it is going to be of these people. Now, as much as I was learning, and because I've been spending time with my family and my girls, they go back to school tomorrow. And then what little chance I have after they're in bed, I do study the Saudi Arabia. I've always did study Saudi Arabia. For some reason, it just intrigues me to study these guys. Not only intrigues, but it gets me ready to know what's coming our way, because we're not free from this. The revenge is over here. They're going to get us on our own soil if it wasn't already got on our own soil to begin with. The Iranians don't like us. They want nothing to do with us. They'd like to see us dead. They're burning our flags. And we got to remember, okay, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, Shia militants, Syria, Libya. We got to talk about all these things that Iran works through. Okay, we always hear people don't want to come against you personally because, okay, for instance, down here on YouTube, someone might have a protective order against someone else so that someone can't get caught doing the stuff they do. So what do? They work with a third person to do their damage. That's what Iran's doing with all these brothers, these Houthis and Hamas, and yeah, exactly, all these guys. Okay, now we also got to remember, I think it was back in, I think it was 1983. Wasn't it Iran that blew up the Marine base there? And that was in 1982.
So, yeah. I think
killing
so.
420 something men, Marines. Nothing happened. You have Benghazi, Soleimani, who Trump just got struck him down dead, did the Benghazi attack. Not only did he do the Benghazi attack, he did other attacks. And he had a major, major attack he's getting ready to do to the U.S. is why they took him out. They're over there saying revenge. They're coming after us. So see, this is what I'm talking about. This mount, I feel, and I might be wrong, but I feel there's going to be a major, major war on top that mount before it even gets built.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was saying earlier. If you read in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, it talks about a war that's going to happen. And it's called the Gog-Magog War. And some people confuse that and think that that's going to be Armageddon. But if you read it, it specifically names the countries, which will be Libya, Egypt, all those little Muslim countries right there, Turkey, all of them that are right there around Israel, that they're going to be involved in this. And it does mention, okay, Gog is supposedly Russia, or the lower part of the Russian country there was the original, and it has to do with Noah's descendants is what it has to do. But this is going to be such a bad war that it's going to take them 7 months to bury all the people. There's only going to be 1/6 the armies, the Muslim and Russian forces that come against Israel. There's only going to be 1/6 of them left. Out of it's going to be so horrible. And like I was telling Edward earlier, they're going to be, the way they're going to have to treat these bodies, it's going to be chemical or nuclear, biological, some kind of contamination of these bodies. When you read those chapters, and it explains to you how they have somebody go by and just set up a marker, and then somebody else comes and buries them. Okay?
Right.
So that makes you think it's got to be somebody that's in a hazmat suit coming to bury them.
Right.
But Russia's definitely going to get involved in this. But they're only going to end up having it's going to be Muslim, it's going to be Russia and Muslim countries that are going to be involved in this. But it specifically names them all in Ezekiel 38 and 39. And then it says that Israel will have fuel for their fire for 7 years. That 7 years is the exact same time frame. They're going to have this fuel that's left over from whatever these weapons were to burn for 7 years. which 7 years is the same amount of time as the tribulation period. That's why I believe that war is going to happen prior to. It's going to kind of be the precedent or the setup for the Antichrist to rise to power, because there's going to be so much confusion and chaos in the world, financially, emotionally, with death and the war then what comes with war, that there's going to be so much turmoil in the world that he's going to come and say, I have the answer. And it's going to kind of set him up to everybody to look to him, because he's going to have the answer to solve all these issues. And that's when the Antichrist comes to power.
Right. Because people they're going to entrust.
They're going to trust him at first, because he's going to come peaceably, and he's going to come with flatteries, and he's going to come with he's going to have the solution to form a one world currency and a one world government and a one world religion that everybody can at least get along religiously and not be fighting about it.
See, like right now, with everything happening, they were showing not knives, but guns in these chat rooms. And like I said, when I'd go to kind of translate over in Google what they were saying, we're going to get hit hard. That's all they're saying. We're going to get hit hard. They're calling us murderous people. Our president's a murderer. Okay, this man killed how many of our Marines? This man was the problem for Benghazi. He's the one who set that up. He's setting up the same damn thing with the ambassador's compound here in Iraq. I mean, this guy, and what was he doing in Baghdad? So it's to the point that it happened the way it happened. But like you're saying, Mo, and this is so godly true. It's going to be someone that's going to come to us. There's going to be so much chaos and war. And somebody's going to come to us with the right words, because you know how when you go to war, what happens? It's an effect on a lot of things. Your gas, your food. Right. There's a lot of things that affect when you have war. And then here you have someone actually that will come up and be the knight in shining armor we are looking for. That promises to give us back food, the medications for our sick, and everything else. And people will stand and grab for it. Even Nostradamus said that. And Nostradamus was a soothsayer. He wasn't a Christian. He was a soothsayer. Yeah. And even he kind of goes with the Bible on it, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing now things that were taught to me as a child by my mother, and things that I come to know with the Bible that I'm seeing happening now.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, the killing other Christians. It's happening now.
I've been studying end time prophecy for at least 30 years now. And it's a whole long story how I got into that. But I got tired of hearing from this denomination this, somebody else this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And I kept, like, wait a minute. I just want to know what the Bible says. And so I prayed about it. And there's a scripture that says, if anybody lacks wisdom and knowledge, let him ask, and God will give it to you. So That's what I did. I prayed and I said, Lord, I don't understand this end times. Everybody's telling me something different. Nobody seems to have the same philosophy or theory on this. And I just want to know what your word says. And he it was like he spoke to me and he said, I will teach you. But he wouldn't let me read any other books or anything like that. He would only let me study with the King James Bible and a concordance. And that was it. I couldn't even have a study Bible where I read the footnotes and stuff in there when I first began. Yeah, he would only let me have the word and a concordance. And I looked up so many words in the Greek and the Hebrew, trying to really dig out the real interpretation of what these words mean. And I mean, I could go, it'd be a whole nother sermon to go into a teaching. I mean, a whole nother video, and but I teach this all the time. About every couple of years I teach it at our church, and I go through a teaching on the my beliefs on the end times.
Yeah, Well, I truly believe people want to say that Obama was the Antichrist. He wasn't the Antichrist. I believe he was ushering in some things because he gave. I mean, if you think about it, Obama is a traitor to our country. I'm going to say that till the day I die. He gives 100, and he brings Iran to the table, makes a nuclear deal we had no business making with him. He
Send
gives
them
them
cash.
right. He gives them $150 billion during that time, then turns around and leaves 150 million flown in on unmarked airplanes, landed right on the tarmac. Now, what is he doing with all this money? And what did he tell them? Because, see, I'm worried about what if we don't have this golden Federal Reserve like we've been telling all these countries? Me and my husband was talking about this. What if Iran does get in and find out we don't have all this gold? Do you know what it's going to do to us when all the other countries find out we may not have what we said we've had? That ain't going to go down too pretty at all.
I'm sure we don't have what we said we had.
We don't.
Because
We don't.
we've just been printing money and printing money and printing money.
We don't.
They're not basing it on the gold reserve like they're supposed to have been doing.
No, we don't have. And that's what's got me is this here is everything is coming down. And here Iran's going to throw their weight around because they have, who are the two that they deal with and they do trade with? China, Russia. That's like the little bitty freckle-faced little chubby boy at school. He always gets picked on. Well, I ain't getting picked on no more. I'm paying my Twinkies to these two big guys to come get you. And that's more or less what kind of deals did Iran work out with Russia and China. Russia always wants to be the main high. How can I put this? They want to be the numero uno mucho. They want to be the top of all countries. They want to be the most dangerous, the most feared, but the most respected country in the world. And they're not right now. They're running neck and neck with China and us. So here we have Iran, which again, Saudi Arabia has had issues with Iran. Saudi Arabia, and I think it has to do with the Mount, wants to try to make some deals with Israel. Kushner fixes that up. Now Saudi and Israel are working together kind of in a way, not totally the way we think they would be, but they are. And now here, look at what's happening. Everybody wants their hands on that Mount. Why?
Well, I think there's another reason I believe that people want control of Israel. I mean, religious people want it because of the Mount, okay? Because it ties to their religion or whatever.
Right.
But Israel recently has hit oil off the coast, okay?
Yeah.
And supposedly get this, they're drilling right now in the same valley as where the Battle of Armageddon is going to happen. And they believe there's a big reserve there. I got to go there last April and up on top of this mountain and look down and look at the Valley of Armageddon. And let me tell you what a feeling that was to sit there and know what I know about the Bible and know that there is like the end battle of all battles is going to happen right there.
Right there. You're darn right it is. I truly believe that.
I mean, when you actually go to these places and you not only see what happened before you, but you understand what is going to happen in the future, it gives you a whole different feeling. And just being around the people and the culture when we were there, because we were around Jewish people. And we had an Arab guy that we hired to be our guide and take us all kinds of places. He took us over into Bethlehem, which is run by the Arabs. And let me tell you what, you get over there, it's a whole different world. It doesn't even look like the rest of Israel that's ran by Israel. It's neat and clean. But if you go into the part of the old city that's ran by the Arabs, or you go over there around Bethlehem and the areas that are run by the Arabs, they don't even take care of it. There's trash all over the place and everything. I mean, you can tell. It's like you went to the east side of, the rough side of town, kind of thing.
Right.
When you go there. But the guy we had that was a driver, and he's Arab, but he was the nicest guy. He was so nice to us, and um, we kept his phone number so we could give him, recommend him to other people we knew that were going over there. He was a super nice guy, and when the day we were leaving, he let us pray over him. We asked him, could we pray over him? And at the airport, we stood right there and prayed over him. He was like, yeah, sure. And he was an Arab, and he let us pray over him. Christians pray over him, which
Yeah.
is a miracle in itself, you know.
Well, yeah, that was a miracle in itself because they don't take Christian prayer too easily unless, did he live his Quran or was he a Christian Arabic?
He was not a Christian. I don't know if he was um, devout Islam or not, but he did always try to bring up things about the Arabs and about Islam and stuff like that. Um, but our worship leader ended up sitting up front with him because she gets car sick, so she ended up sitting up front. It was a big old van he had, and she said, "Hey, you want to hear one of my songs that I wrote?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." And she played it, and he was like, "I like that." So he wanted her to keep playing more of her music, and I think it just kind of opened his heart a little. You know what I mean?
That'd be neat. That would be neat.
The Lord kind of let us plant a seed, but but there's some that, I mean, there's police everywhere. When you go, you've got the young people who are serving in the IDF. They're everywhere with a machine gun on their hip.
Right.
Everywhere you go, they're all over the place. But there were a couple of places we didn't feel real comfortable. We didn't feel
Right.
real secure, you know. And part of that was when we were over there around Bethlehem. And Rick said he didn't want to go back over there. So he went back and took the leaders of our church last fall. And he said, I'm taking you guys anywhere you want to go, but we're not going to Bethlehem. We're not going back over there because it just felt dangerous,
Yeah.
when you were there. But anyway, getting back to,
go ahead.
I just want to get back on this subject, but see that what I was bringing up though was that Trump may have, he's been behind the scenes making this deal, him and Kushner with the Saudi Arabia. Could he have kind of been the reason that if Saudi nationals were behind the thing in Las Vegas, could he have been the one that squashed it and help get it all covered up because he wants this deal to go through? And he didn't want.
It's hard to say what he wanted because of the simple fact, if you think about it, Saudi Arabia, everybody thinks that Trump is running Saudi Arabia. Trump is not running Saudi Arabia. Okay, I can tell you that now. So it's got to do with money. I ain't saying that Trump's like the rest of the presidents. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I know that Trump, he put the ambassador where he put the ambassador there. Okay. And I think he did it to kind of give claim to the United States. If you look at what I'm saying, just have an open mind here. You got Israel, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Iran, all having an issue with this mount. What does Trump go do? He puts an ambassador there. Okay, so now that kind of puts it where there's United States land more or less there. Okay, when the attack took place at the Baghdad embassy here in Baghdad, it still is considered diplomatic immunity. It is soil that belongs to the United States, like it is when they come to our countries and become ambassadors. So why did Trump, that's what we got to figure out. Why did Trump place an ambassador right there? Why? Right. When you can figure that out, you can figure out what's going down. petrodollar
Well,
only. Yeah. Okay.
did you hear the latest though that they're trying to say that that general was actually coming to try to make a peace treaty between Iraq and Saudi Arabia and I mean between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and Iraq was hosting the talk.
Okay. This they can say what they
I know
want.
it's far-fetched.
They can say what they want. The man was there while they were tearing into the ambassador's office, just ambassador's compound, just like in Benghazi. Okay, and I can bet
He wasn't there to do
no, he
peace.
wasn't. He
No.
was there.
He's
and
never done a peaceful thing in his life.
Right. And he exactly. And he's the one. Everybody needs to understand what he said. Quote, he used the term. What was it he used? I wrote it down here somewhere. Soleimani said, we need to take up swords. Now, let me find out where I wrote that down, because I wrote it down word for word what he said. That they should take up swords. And I think it was, and this was during when Trump pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal. Okay.
Right.
And I'm trying to find it here because hold on, I can bring it up here easier. Okay, hold on. Soleimani said we should take up swords. Okay, I talked to my Google. Okay, sell your cloak and buy a sword. And he said we should take up swords and punish them. That the U.S. should be punished. We should be punished because we backed out of the deal. It ain't like we asked for our money back. We just said we weren't going to do the deal. Right. You can't give these men that taunt and teach and chant death to America. As soon as their babies are born and their babies are old enough to understand, they teach them death to America. We know that you're past tense on. I'm on someone's show. You want to be on it? No. Then no. We know that we're past that part, dude. See how he is? He does this even when I have a show. Do you want to be on the show? No. But anyway, you knocked me off my narrative. You got to quit that. So what happens is you got this country. Okay, he's over here, but he hightails his butt to an airport. Okay, getting the hell gone because what was supposed to went down, it foiled big time. So while he's running, we get a hold of him and you ain't running no more. And they're trying to say that he look at everything he's done. He's killed many of our Americans, our soldiers. He's plotted many attacks. And now they're saying the attacks that they're talking about, they're saying if you get an email from your bank, do not open it. Call your bank and ask them, did you send me an email and why? They're trying to cyber hit us first. And my husband got some texts today in his phone. He wasn't going to open them. There's no way he's going to download whatever it said download. And it was from 2 different areas. So they're going to start hitting cyber. From what I'm hearing, truly, they're going to start hitting the cyber way first. They're going to hit a cyber.
So they already hit Homeland Security, wasn't it? They hacked it?
Yep. See, that's what I'm saying. They're not done. This is the 3rd day of mourning. Tomorrow's going to be, look for tomorrow.
There was a government website. The library of, I sent it to you, Clovis, whatever it was. I'm sure you already seen it before then, right?
I don't know. When did you
send
it to me?
That's the website y'all are talking about?
No. When did you send it to me? I'm going back.
I don't know. It's got Trump being punched in the face on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's what they put on that website. They put that picture on there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you get the link to the website?
Well, yeah, I posted a link to the website, didn't they? They took the website down. It wasn't back up the other day.
No, they're coming after us. There's no getting over it. They're coming after us. There's no getting around this.
I was telling Edward earlier about the Saudis the Afghans that went AWOL. I found the article on it. but there was it wasn't 80%, it was 40% of the ones that came to Texas for the training years back.
Yeah.
40% of them went AWOL when they got here, and it happened 2 times. So we shut that training thing down.
Oh,
to
it
train
happened
the
more than 2
Afghans.
times. It's happened more than 2 times, hasn't it, James? It had. I mean, Edwards. It's happened more than 2 times. We've had too many of them from Saudi. They're disappearing. They're going AWOL. We don't even know if they're actually. I mean, we got them coming in from Israel going AWOL, Pakistan going AWOL, Iraq going AWOL. What the hell?
They're
It's
coming
like
across the
they hit
border
you.
in Texas like crazy, coming across the border here. You
Mhm.
know,
And it's like
Uh,
it's.
It was.
Go
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
I was just saying it was the FDLP.gov that was hit.
Homeland Security. Is that what you're saying?
No,
say it again,
it
Edward.
was
You kind of
a
cut out.
federal some library deal. Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
Huh?
My
You said
internet isn't
federal?
always the best here. Federal Depository Library, something or other.
It's what they hacked, and they put a.
I dropped the link in the private chat.
And
Federal
hang out here. Okay.
Depository Library Program is what they hacked.
I think they've got it fixed now.
It's back up now.
But you can find websites that I think it's on YouTube. I think I found it on YouTube on a channel where they showed the actual picture of Trump on there, so you can find it. What was put up there?
Who runs this? Federal Depository Library Program.
I would assume a Department of Education, probably.
Bunch of liberals. Just saying. Well, you know. Okay, so has anyone heard any more from Israel? I mean, from Iran, though.
The last I heard was they put a $80 million thing on Trump's head, and then they said today that they were going to wipe out the White House. They were going to like blow it up or something. They said they were going to do that. So they're just making threats right now, but I just think everybody needs to be prepared. If you're not a prepper, you need to at least have, at the least, in my opinion, is some food, water, whatever you need to survive for a couple of weeks. If you have to hunker down, yeah, stuff that you can be, whatever you can be self-sufficient with, ammo, guns. If you have training with a gun, I would have enough ammo on you. You may have to hunker down at your house and be there for a while. You know, I really think that we're going to see some terrorist stuff pop off, and it's not going to be very safe to go.
No. And also my husband made a statement, clean your cookies out of your whatever you use. Make sure you get rid of your cookies and stuff every night because they are threatening cyber attacks. My problem was I was over in RT. Your cell phones, yes. I was over in RT fighting with them saying, Trump for 2020, you mess with ours and we come at you. And one person said, really, Clovis? And it's like, uh-oh. And they're calling me by my name. It's time to just sit back and read.
Yeah. Reboot your phone. Reboot your phone every day too. Yes. Turn it all the way off. Let it shut completely down, and then turn it back on. And anytime I've clicked on something that I won't even click on anything anymore that comes in Messenger unless I know it's coming from somebody that I have an ongoing relationship with. I've had, I don't know how many people start messaging me in Messenger that I know did not come from the person because of what they said to me.
Right.
in there. And I swear somebody had my phone cloned a while back, and we were, was it, I can't remember whose live stream I was on. I think it was Truth Bombs. But all of a sudden, about 5 or 6 of us in there all started getting hit at the same time, and our passwords to our
Facebook
Facebook was
password
being
resets.
changed.
Yep.
It was changing it, and I changed my password 3 times, and they were changing it as quick as I could change it. But when I shut my phone all the way down and put it back on, it hasn't happened to me again. Yeah, there's still people trying to get me to click links that come to me in text or messenger or whatever, but I'm not clicking on them. I'm not going to, because I know what they're doing. They're trying to clone my phone again.
Right.
I think it's some YouTube clowns is what I think.
I wouldn't doubt it being the
But
YouTube, but we never can tell. You know, you'd hate to think that and then it'd be something else, but we just need to be more vigilant nowadays, because Iran has definitely been a threat to us, and now they're a bigger threat than anything. And it says Trump doubles down on threats against Iran's culture sites. So he's not going to hit the culture sites. I don't know if that was going to be the mosque or what they're talking about with that. It says Trump threatens attacks on 52 sites of Iran's retaliation. So he's telling them more or less, if you retaliate on us right now, we're going to hit some major sites of yours. So it's talks right now going back and forth. Pentagon rules out striking Iranian culture sites, contradicting Trump. Trump threatens Iran's culture sites. See what I mean? It's back and forth. It's back and forth. These are people that always wanted to kill us. And when I seen Obama meet with this leader and bow and kiss his feet and hands, I knew we had a weasel for a president.
Oh, yeah.
You don't bow to no leader. Well, yeah. I'm trying to be nice here instead of going all the way out there, dude. But yeah, okay. Traitor. That's what he was. But it's like I said, you don't bow to no other leader. If you're a leader of a major country, one like ours, you stand straight and you shake hands. They don't want to shake your hand, and so be it. Then you know where you stand with this person. But bowing and kissing the feet and hands of the people that want to kill the same country in which you are a president of, I got an issue with that. So, but the Mount, just keep an eye on that. We're going to see who's going to actually take control over that. I think right now, my thought on this is Trump's going to put an ambassador there. That way, no one can take control over it right now. No one. And let me ask you guys something. Who do you feel rightfully should have it? I'm going to ask you two guys that.
I think, and now this is my opinion, I think it should be Israel, because they had their temple there long before those mosques were ever built there. Okay. But because that land, then there's actually all this archaeological stuff going on right now underneath the Temple Mount that Israel is doing to try to prove, and they've already came up with stuff that they've dug up that's way older than that mosque. Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, that's my opinion. I think Israel should be in control of it. Okay. But then now you've got this mosque up there, and that's their holy site too. And so you don't want to ruffle everybody's feathers. So that's why they're trying to come up with this compromise. But yeah, that's my opinion, because I believe that Israel should own not only what they do have right now, but what they were promised in the Bible is way larger amount of land than what they have.
Right.
Yep. I agree.
So I'm wondering if it's just because it's where Muhammad went up to the Mount and he come back with all these, hey, this is what God said do. This is what we're going to do, and here's the Quran, live by it. I don't know why, unless there's something, whether it be holy or whether it be mineral. I don't know what the heck Saudi Arabia Saudi Arabia would want with it. And Qatar is pulling at it. Pakistan's pulling at it. Iran would just like to blow it up. I mean, they just want to, they like a bunch of little kids that just got them little toy soldiers and they just want to blow shit up. I'm not kidding you. So
I got Charles Beckman's in the chat calling him General Salami. That's hilarious.
Well, most Arabs, especially the Palestinians, they've ingrained it in their children since they've been little. They've got cartoons showing that the Jews are bad, the Jews are evil people, and that they're supposed to just hate them. So I mean, it's ingrained in many of them, in many of these countries that have terrorist ideologies in them. It's just ingrained in them to hate the Jews. That the Jews have gotten that land illegally. But the Jews can I believe they can prove a longer ownership of that land than any of the Muslims can prove ownership of that land.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just going by antiquities and things that they've dug up,
Right. Well, I think it should be left to Israel, but with President Trump, well, by him putting the embassy there, and he's also, I think he's trying to help Israel keep that, as theirs. But the fact of it given is you got too many people want it. What are their reasons for wanting it? I'm not getting it. Is it to feel they might gain power by owning it? Or there's something there that they feel if, they get to it. And I just don't understand why Saudi Arabia would want anything to do with that area over there.
Because they want the religious site. That's what I think. I think that's important to them. They already have, how many? 2, Pastor Mo?
They've got 2 in Saudi Arabia that I know of, but it's the third holiest site is there. The Dome of the Rock is there. I mean, Mecca's in Saudi Arabia, but of course they would want it because that's one of their third holiest place.
They want to be in control
religion.
of all of them. Yep.
Let me tell you something weird. When we went to Israel, we went to all these different sites and stuff, and I thought they were run by, I didn't know who, but when you get there and you find out, almost every single holy site that's supposed to be Christian that you go to, almost every one is ran by the Vatican, by the Catholic Church.
Why?
Because,
really? That's odd.
Yes.
What does the Catholic Church got to do with that?
They came in and took over. When they were many years ago, they came over and took over these. There's one we went to, now Bethlehem, that was the craziest mess I ever saw because there was 3 different, it was split up. The manger, there's the manger part of it was in the Christian hands, and then the church on top was the Vatican, and then there was another part that was ran by the Arabs. Where the birth of Jesus is. It was split up, and they had fought over that. But most of them are administrated by the Catholic Church. There's one that we went to that was administrated by a Christian organization, and I believe that's where Jesus really did rise from the dead, where the tomb is. But there's another one in town that says that's the one where Jesus rose, and that is ran by a Catholic Church, and that's the one that is most people think that's the right place. But when you go to the one that's run by the Christians, that's out of town, because it says that it does say in the Bible it was out of this, at the edge of the city, and when you look across the valley from there, you can see what looks like a rock in the wall in the side of the mountain that looks like a skull. So it fits with the Bible, and it felt peaceful at that place when we went there to that one, But I would say 90% of anything that is considered a Christian holy site is ran by the Vatican over there.
Why can't they just share control of it? Is what Charles asked. Yeah, because that solves the problem, Charles. They're not looking to solve any problems, I don't think. That's why they can't share control of it. It's my opinion.
But if they come up with this one world religion, the Antichrist, when he comes up with it, and that's, if you ever see the sticker that says evolve, have you ever seen that? And it's got all these different little symbols. It's got a Jewish symbol, it's got a Christian symbol, it's got all these
Right.
different symbols, but it spells out, no, it coexists. That's what it is. It spells out the word coexist. They're trying to get everybody, all these different religions, to be able to coexist peacefully and respect each other's religion. Okay.
Right.
Which we should. I mean, I'm not going to try to convert somebody of a different religion to my religion. But that's what they're trying to get them to do. To the point that I've even heard of preachers here in the United States that have let a Muslim get up and preach in their pulpit in a Christian church. That's, to me, is going a little bit too far. Because you don't let somebody that you don't agree with get up and preach in your pulpit
right.
their doctrine. No, you don't.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's some well-known preachers. If I'm not going to say the names because I'm just not going to do that. But if you can research it and find it, but it's, to me, it's disgraceful to do something like that. Yeah, I can be friends with a Muslim. I can go out to eat with them. I can have them be my driver. I could be friends. But letting their religion cross over into our religion, that's not right. You're supposed to protect that pulpit as a Christian, as a pastor. You protect that pulpit. You don't let just anybody get up there and teach. And
Right. Yep.
that's my opinion. But Clovis got quiet.
You don't open up a forum for other religions to come in and use your church for their message.
No,
right.
I got something. I got something here. I'm going to put it in your box. How to screen share, right?
Yeah, I figured that out.
Okay.
Well, a lot of things I haven't figured out, but I figured that out.
I want you to show this to the people, right? This is the time, and I'm going to tell you about it real quick before I push it up there for you to get it. This right here should be telling people something really, really heavy. Go ahead and show that. That is scary in itself. I'm going to mute while you show it.
Okay, it's a YouTube link. Let me see. Give me a minute. I'm not real fast with this yet, but hang on. It's a commercial, so.
If it's a video, make sure you click the share audio box before you screen share past them.
Okay, wait a minute. I haven't got there yet. I've seen this video before. This video, I'm trying to get it back up. Okay. I'm just trying to get it set up. It takes me a while, Clovis, but I can do it.
Sure you can. You got it, girl.
Okay. Is it up there? Okay. Let me get it going. Yeah, kind of hard to watch that, isn't it?
Yeah, he's kissing the feet of Muslim men, Muslim clergymen. And he wants to mix their religion with Catholic religion, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But see, he's not over any other denomination except for Catholic. So I don't know how he's going to pull this off. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not going to be able to pull this off because of the simple fact he's only over the Catholic organization.
He may be able to get them to go along with it when it does come about. He'll be the leader over the Catholic organization that'll be able to get the Catholics to go along with the one world religion.
Well, I don't like his bright red shoes. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen those.
That was scary. He would even wear a pair.
There is a prophecy that he would be the last pope. And I think Nostradamus, didn't he say that too or something?
Yeah.
That this would be the last pope.
Yeah. So. Now, Bebeginga, she predicted that Trump would be our last president. Or no, that we would have our first Black American president, but president following after him would be our last. And that's what Bebeginga said.
Yeah. I don't know who that is, but I've heard that before.
She's Hungarian. When she was 12, she was in a tornado and they found her after the tornado had passed. They found her and she was 12 years old and she was blind, but she could tell the future and she could tell things and, you know, through all the people that were around her, family and friends and people asking her questions. And she never was wrong. She was always on it, you know. And she died old age, but she, Bebeginga is something like Nostradamus. And she told that we would have our first Black American president that would cause a divide. But then the man following him will be our last president. And that's what she claimed.
Well, the way things are going, it very possibly could be, you know.
Well, you know that go ahead.
Well, I was going to say before I forget, you were talking earlier about nukes or something, and did you know there's 40 nukes missing right now in the United States?
40 what?
Nukes that are missing.
I heard about it, but I didn't know it was bona fide that it was true.
Well, I don't know if our government's ever admitted it, but recently over Colorado, even the sheriff's departments are seeing like drones that are running a grid, and they'll like run a grid, scoot over, run another grid. It's like they look like they're in an L shape or something or whatever, and they'll run a grid, they'll move over, they'll run another box grid, and they're doing this. And the sheriffs have called, they've called the FFA, they've called government, they've called everybody, and nobody will admit that they're there and they're doing this. But supposedly what they're doing is looking for nukes, and that's over Colorado. And they said they're supposed to be going to start gridding over, I think, Idaho and Virginia for some reason, something like that. And so nobody knows what they're doing. Who this is running these drones, running these grids, because nobody will admit to it. But there is a theory or something out there. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Marfugel. I listened to a guy named Marfugel. I don't know if any of y'all listen to him. But he had it on. He took his platform. He's trying to do some stuff over on D Live, and he had a show on D Live the other night, and they were talking about it being that they were actually he had a guy that called in, and he's pretty up on all this stuff, and he said they were looking for the nukes that are missing. So
and
I
you
don't
said
know.
There's how many? 40?
40 missing. How do we lose 40 nukes? How do you lose them?
Let's get Obama and pull his toenails off one by one, his fingernails off one by one, till he tells us what the hell he's done while he was president. I'm serious, because it has to be on the command of the upper.
You don't just lose that many nukes. I mean, how could you lose them? You don't just misplace
Give them
something.
away. We know Fast and Furious was part of his bull crap, and Hillary's and Holders and all them. I mean, they were part of Fast and Furious. So what did they do with the nukes? With 40 nukes is a lot of nukes. Where did they go?
Yeah, where did they go?
I'm gonna check into that.
Yeah, check into it some more, because I mean, I just caught some blips of it and I was like, they're probably in the hands of some terrorists. And if they can make a major thing go off in one of these cities, because they've got Los Angeles on high alert, Texas, Florida, and
New
Florida's
York.
probably on high alert because we're fixing to have the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then, New York, Chicago, and Washington, I think.
Yep.
So I could see Texas I was like, why would they have Texas on alert? But, we do have the oil refineries, a lot of them here.
Yeah.
And then we also have a lot of illegals coming across the border. And they're saying that most of them are not Mexican illegals. They're other nations that are crossing the border.
That was what was coming across before. So, yeah, that's what's messed up. But I'll check into the 40 nukes because that's got me interested. And
well, maybe
go ahead.
We've already been on here like over 2 hours, and I bet everybody's getting tired. I'm kind of getting tired. But we may have to continue this then.
That's fine.
And have another discussion. We can do it on Edward's channel or do it back on my channel. I don't care. But wherever.
And by then, maybe
three of y'all want
40 nukes found, maybe.
Yeah, so we can kind of do some more research along these lines and try to have another one.
Okay. Well, just let me know when.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to. Anything else y'all want to talk about while we're on these subjects, though, before we close it down?
No, you don't want to give them everything. Just gonna.
Well, you can't. There's so much you can't. I mean, you just talk about Iran and Iraq right now, and that's like craziness right there.
Right.
Just
keep an eye.
Keep up with that.
And the only thing I could tell people to do is, what?
I was saying the U.S. is admitted to losing 6 nukes, but not 40.
6. Well, it wouldn't even matter if it was only just 6. Even if it was just 6, who would have those?
Right. And 2 is too many to be lost. Sorry.
Exactly.
2 is too many.
There's supposedly like 100. I said this earlier in the beginning. 100 sleeper cells in the United States.
Yep.
And they can just start popping them off anytime they want to.
Well,
I don't want people to be afraid, because I want you to keep your trust in the Lord. And that's where we should keep our trust and our focus. But I mean, even like Joseph did when he knew there was something bad coming. He prepared.
Right.
He prepared during the 7
like
years of plenty.
You said on my show.
7 years of lean.
Yeah, like you said on my show, on my channel, Pastor Mo, was, I mean, you trust in bring that gun, and I mean, you got to be prepared. Is what it is.
Yeah, be prepared. Keep your head on a swivel and do what the Lord tells you to do to prepare. Because, people are in different states or whatever. And he may tell me to do something different in Texas than he's going to tell somebody up in New York, So that's where we need to do what we feel like we need to do to prepare. But to sit back and twiddle your thumbs and do nothing at this point is stupidity, because a lot of Christians are like, well, God's gonna take care of us. We shouldn't have guns in the church.
Right. You also got to keep vigilant. Just if you see something and it don't look right, say something to some authority. If you see something, say something. That's got to be our number one motto now because of all that's going on. It's a given. My girls go back to school tomorrow. It's bugging the heck out of me, So
yeah, my grandson goes back tomorrow too. We've got our grandson living with us.
Yeah, when they were at home, I felt safe. I could keep them safe with me, and it is what it is. So, but you just got to be vigilant and pray, and let God do the leading, and you'll do fine. But I'm going to hop off here. Thanks for having me here. If you want me back on, just send me a message.
We
I've been out
will.
with the girls
Yeah.
all day, and I'm kind of pooped and tired. And
I am
I'll get on these nukes and stuff and let you guys know what I find, okay?
Well, let's just all do some more research and we'll get back together. And but yeah, keep an eye on the Temple Mount and just the Middle East in general, because that's going to be the powder keg that's going to go off. And you know, we just got to keep an eye on what's going on and be aware of your surroundings and prepare.
Right.
Prepare.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
See you guys later. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Clovis.
All right. Well, I think this was a pretty good show.
It was. I stumbled through it anyway. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I'll get better at it. It's much easier being a co-host or a visitor than it is to actually run it. But I got to learn how to do this eventually. You know.
I know. That's why I'm glad because even on my channel, True Seeker is running my show right now, basically because I don't have a computer. I can't screen share from my phone because my laptop broke. So it's nice being a guest everywhere I go right now, you know?
Well, it's good having a guest. I can see the benefits of having a guest on, because when you're trying to pull stuff up and do stuff, they can help keep things flowing so people aren't getting so bored, you know. And then it's hard to run everything and read the chat. So that's very helpful, just having somebody that can keep an eye on the chat, and so we can try to answer questions. And if I'm going to go back through the chat, and if there's any questions that we didn't answer after this uploads, I'll answer them. Just put them down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them best I can down in the comments after this uploads, guys.
But yeah, I mean, U.S. admitted to losing 6 nukes, though. 6 is too many. But imagine if it is 40, because we're never going to say, oh, yeah, we lost 40 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they've admitted to 6. So.
Well, they're looking for something. I mean, the FHA isn't going to, the FF or whatever, you know, the airlines, they're not going, I mean, they're not going to be flying around if their drones are going to be flying around and we not know about it.
Right. Yeah.
Our government has to know about it, and the FFA has to know about it, or we'd be taking them down, whatever it is. They wouldn't be allowing that. They're looking for something. They're looking for terrorists, or they're looking for nukes. They're looking for something. And I don't know what part of Colorado. That might be something to look into, where exactly they're looking over these different counties in Colorado, you know, but it may be because that's where, what is it? Our control thing is there in Colorado. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? Where the bunkers are and all that. NORAD. Takes me a while. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Edward, and thank you, Clovis, for being on here, and thanks for everybody who came to the chat.
Well, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. And
I read one comment. It was I was doing the same thing Clovis was doing, watching that RT coverage, Rupley's cover. It's a YouTube channel, RUPTLY, I think. Their coverage of the funeral last night, and I read a comment, probably from an American, that said, it said President Trump gave him cash, and President Obama gave him cash, and President Trump turned him into ash or something. Is what he was saying, right?
Well, I heard today that I think I must have already said this, but if we have to leave Iraq and they won't pay us for that base, we need to blow the heck out of it on our way out the door, and don't leave that base operational for them to use.
It seemed like all the people against us went to the parliament, that day, trying to urge him to vote to throw us out. I mean, I don't think that should happen, but
no,
don't know.
Because if we leave Iraq, Iran's can come in and take over, and it's going to just be a mess. Anyway, so we can talk about that next time, I guess. But so we'll figure it out and announce it, where we're going to be and when we're going to talk about this some more. But it's been great. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah, thanks for asking me to come on. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it. When you figure out that other program, you're going to have to teach me on that one too.
Okay, I will. Yeah,
All right.
that one I went live on the other day. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, that you were testing. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Pastor Mo,
Well,
thank you so much.
thanks. Good night, everybody. Have a good evening and sleep well.